Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cup of Campus. This is a podcast of everyday life of XJTLU students, and in this topic, we're going to discuss about the dilemma of major selection. My name's David, and I am a year 2 architecture student from Indonesia.
Hi, I'm Kalista. I'm also from Indonesia. Now I'm a master student in management.
I'm Cyrus from Thailand, year 4 marketing.
I'm Shirley, I'm from Malaysia, and I'm a year 3 student majoring in English studies.
Let's just start into our conversation. Let's try to think ourselves ahead, way back before we get into our university life. Was there any considerations? Was it because of practicality or maybe passion that drives you into entering XJTLU?
I think what drove me first was passion, and then I think that practicality came into my mind later, because first I was a filmmaking student because I was interested in filmmaking. At that time, there were many influencers growing, not just in Malaysia but in China as well. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go into a filmmaking major where I can do photography, I can do filmmaking, I can do editing. I felt that it was a big thing, But after that, coming to China, I feel like this was a growing industry, like a very fast one. So I thought about practicality after that, which was one of the reasons why I switched to an English major, because I felt that was one of the biggest part that China was lacking, maybe like English teachers, English tutors, yeah.
Sounds good. I don't have no passion for schooling, I just say. But business sounds good to me. But at the meantime, I cannot do math. So marketing is the only option for me.
For me, I think it will be like a combination between passion and also practicality. In terms of practicality, when we open any job portals like LinkedIn, for example, we can easily find a job hiring that looking for business related graduates, right? So I would say in terms of the trends of job hiring, job searching, it will be easier if you are graduating or you are graduate as a business related students. On the other side, why I say a combination between passion as well. So back when I was in the primary school, when my teacher asked me what is my dream, I would say I want to be a businesswoman. Yeah, so I would say I've been dreaming to be a businesswoman since I was a child. That's why I would say it's combination between my passion and also the practicality.
But why businesswoman though? Was there any other choices else?
I would say because my dad, he's a businessman. That's why I've been looking at him doing business since I was very little. That's why I think I want to be businesswoman because of him.
Do you think it's very Asian of your parents,
I would say yeah. Yeah, very Asian of my family, yeah.
I think that a lot of people, when they want to come into university life, it's always their parents backing up them, giving this kind of force, oh, you should do this, you should do that, and something like that. So, what kind of is there any specific reasons that you think it's very important when you were making this decisions? Were there aside from business or industry trend that was going on surrounding you, have you actually identify any potential in maybe the future of your careers that you're selecting now?
For me, no idea. It is let's say the minimum point of life that everyone has to at least have this degree, right? The UG. So
You sound like my dad.
well, brother, I don't think your parents would really allow you to just grade 12, I'm done, I don't want to study. I mean, that's what I said as well. And obviously, get smacked, right? Yeah, you have to learn. So I don't know. I mean, share your experience. I mean, you got any passions for becoming architecture? That's actually my dream major.
Oh, your dream major.
Oh, was an architect. Oh, okay, that's very interesting because a lot of my relatives that I know, friends, families, and yeah, they do kind of told me oh, I used to wanting to grow up as an architect, but they don't find it interesting because I don't think they find the practicality inside it. I mean, personally, I do think architecture is not it's not one of the best paying major out there. The minimum wage isn't as high as compared to other majors, say like business or maybe those currently trendy ones like AI or computer science related. But, you know, again, I do have that passion within me that, you know, forces me to choose this major. Yeah, anyhow.
Yeah, I guess the passion god.
Now that we know like what drives us going into our selective major, whether it's passion or practicality, were you well aware of any reasons why you chose like China as like your first, or maybe like not your first choice, but like why do you come to China?
Okay, like if I'm being honest, it's because, you know, things in China are really cheap and you have like so many choices. Because living in Malaysia, we could order stuff from Taobao, but there'd be like a shipping fee. But because I have friends from China, I know that ordering online in Taobao, you don't pay for like shipping at all.
Yeah,
so
it's literally
I guess that's
for free.
one of like the reasons. But I think that, you know, being from Malaysia, like a Chinese Malaysian, I think that we have similar culture, but I also feel like we have big differences as well. But I can only experience these cultures and differences if I am in this city. It's different watching videos online or their movies or their films. It's more like happening if you're like here in the city itself. You see more of it happening, you see how different people communicate and like the way they do things, you know, basically.
Yeah, I think similar to you, from my experience, is that I wanted to study Chinese. So why do I want to study Chinese? So before I worked in like an e-commerce company from China, which is like TikTok. So my peers and also like my team members, they're from Singapore, and then I also work with like China hiring manager. So a lot of like the team or the people that I'm working for, they speak Chinese, and then I'm the only one that cannot speak Chinese. So I feel like, it is very important for me to study Chinese, and a typical like Chinese family, my parents will always like encourage me to like study Chinese, and I think I've been like taking like Chinese courses since I was like maybe 5-6 years old, but I still cannot like speak Chinese because I don't have that environment. Yeah, so I only like speak Chinese with like my grandparents, and I think it's not enough. So being in like the environment where like my co-workers, they're everyone like speaking Chinese, I do have like the motivation. I need to speak Chinese as well. That's why I think that having like the right environment, having like the Chinese environment, the culture to like support my learning, that's why I decided to come to China.
For me, fun lifestyle. Nightlife in China, you say less, you know, you have to try it yourself. And it's kind of challenging as well when you come to a new place. You don't speak their language and they don't speak your language. Now when I want to buy something, I act like a monkey. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty a fun experience in life, let's say. How about you?
Well, I do think China has its own, you know, attractiveness. Again, I guess it's financial problems. I do find, before getting into like financial, a lot of Asian parents will tell you, they will suggest you going to like these 3 major countries, America, the UK, and like Australia.
Yeah,
and, like,
correct.
You 3 are probably like influenced by your parents too. Like, maybe like go first to like these other 3 countries. But spending a lot of time there can be like a very costly, you know, experience. Because I mean, I've been to the like UK, Australia, and shit like that. The UK, it's very expensive.
Very
Food can
expensive.
cost you like an upwards of £20. That's like, I don't know.
That's like 100 Malaysian ringgit. That's like a lot for like a meal.
Yeah, it's like a lot. It's like crazy amount of money just spent for like one meal. But compared to like China, it's like, I don't know, a fraction or like 10 times lower than what you're paying back in the UK.
Correct. China is very cheap.
Yeah.
Very cheap.
Cheap. And like it's very convenient. You can get anything, just like call your those Mat. or like any other services. It's very convenient.
Also because we are like nearer to our parents.
True. A lot of our parents are Asians. China is very near geographically. It doesn't cost you like, I don't know, hundred thousands or like
Just to
millions just to fly.
to see
yeah.
you.
It's very
Yeah.
cheap too. And like, the weather, the climate is also perfect except for summer. Summer's devastating.
Oh yeah.
Really? I've never
I
experienced
mean,
that.
for people from like places like Indonesia and Malaysia, we enjoy like the cold weather. We love
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
Because we don't have that kind of privilege
Yeah.
back there.
How is it like? How was it summer in Suzhou?
It was okay, but it's pretty humid. I'd say.
It's very humid, it's very hot.
Yeah.
It's like you go outside 10 minutes and you're all drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
It's just terrible experience, honestly. Okay, now I guess we're a bit sidetracked about that, but let's get back and try to give me some few words about your major. Was it a fun experience? Do you think your tutors or maybe like academic advisors, were there like any problems you encounter during your, studies?
I'd say for me, it's pretty successful. I haven't really encountered any problems because I feel like in university, I'd say you are more of an independent individual because teachers might give you homeworks and stuff and you can choose not to do it, you can choose to do it, but it's more of like what you want. If you want like academics, then you would have to like give more time and effort into studying. I mean, it's economics, You give some, you lose some. You want to play games, you lose some time for studying, and then it shows in your results. But if you want like better academics, then you put more time into studying, and then you play less games and things like that, right?
I mean, for me, problem comes every day. Every time your teacher talks about coursework, problem already. So how do I manage my time? Just let's say, okay, today I'm gonna work until 5. After 5, then no, I'm not gonna touch it. No matter how much progress I don't care. I'm just gonna go have my life. And that's how I manage my life here. So at the meantime, I mean, I'm having fun with my life, but I will also somewhat pass my course as well. So
Wow.
it's okay.
How about you? How about you?
Oh, me? I think I am a bit ambitious. Every day it's either I come to my department, DV, or maybe I just spend in my house working alone. It's like a normal schedule for me, working 9 to 5 daily, except for like Sundays, I take off. Yeah, it's very crazy. A lot of people say like, oh, it's toxic, toxic
I mean, as long as you're
work
happy.
life.
Are you?
I don't know. It's like there's like a silver line. There's like a thin line defining, what's insane and what's sane, Sometimes I can be like, crazy, my workload. Sometimes like, okay, But currently everything is pretty much manageable. I mean, again, architecture is very notorious for its workload. A lot of people say, don't go there, don't go there. And
Sounds like a
do
lot of
something.
math.
No, actually, okay, let's be honest here. Architecture doesn't involve a lot of math.
Really?
Yeah, it's only like the basic ones, just like adding, multiplications. It's not like some weird, trigonometry, geometry or something like that. No, it's very basic.
I had to drop out physics because I cannot do architecture now.
Oh my gosh.
And now that I hear from you, now I regret my life.
For like, let's talk about our financial considerations. Were you well aware that our campus offers, scholarships or anything like that? Or maybe like you could tell yourself, how did you get inside to our campus? Was it from family, friends, or maybe was it agents?
For me, since I was like looking for like a university in China, and then I met like an agency in Indonesia, and then like they recommended me like a couple of university, and why at the end I decided to chose XJTLU is because I know they provide scholarship for international students. I'm not sure about like undergraduate students, but for master students, and also I'm taking the Master of Science. So the scholarship, I think, is around 10 to 30% at maximum, but then it will be up to 50% for the Master of Research. So I think having like the scholarship, it is like very helpful, since like I'm taking master and it is like quite expensive compared like to undergraduates. That's why it is like one of the factors why I choose XJTLU.
Well, for Malaysians, you know, the cheaper the better, of course. When before coming to XJTLU, I emailed them with all of like my transcripts, and the first thing I asked was, do you guys offer like bursary, like scholarships? And they say yeah. And I think mine went up to around 30%. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Did you get a scholarship?
I don't think so, brother. A person like me with a scholarship, I don't think it goes together. I'd rather offer, let's say I offer this good opportunity to other people who would need it more than me.
Interesting. Let's talk about our experience. Maybe, try to share about your experience during your first year, second year, or maybe, again, I've heard that some of you, exchange major. Try to tell us, like, what was it like? Like, how was the experience of changing into a new module that was, like, very completely different?
Okay, well, the first year and the second year was very depressing because it was COVID and I did it online. So I switched my majors online, and I felt that it was hard because it was completely a different major, and I have to try to find motivation into doing a major that I didn't find passion in. But then I found friends that were like very interesting, and their perspective in this major, it sparked my interest. And slowly I tried to find motivation in finding interest in this. And one of the things that I found was like to be able to put psychology and language together. So I feel like, no matter in what major you're in, and if you find it boring in the first place, I think it's good to just keep an open mind and, to explore, because it's just a degree. Like, my dad would say, it's a degree, it's like a safety net. It doesn't mean like everything. You can take this major and you can come out and you can still explore other things. It doesn't mean that, you do a filmmaking major or you do an English study major and then you come out and then you have to be an English teacher. It doesn't mean that. It's just like a safety net.
Yeah, she's completely right. Degree is just a degree, not the end of my life. But I feel like it's gonna end soon.
How about you?
I don't think, so actually I've only been in China for like 6 months. So compared to you both, I don't think I have like any experience here. But the 6 months, it is very interesting because, sharing a little bit, in China, the transportation is very convenient, very easy, and also quite cheap. So during my time, 6 months here, I've been to a couple of cities because like it is very easy. So here in Suzhou, I think it is only like 30 minutes away from Shanghai. And then to other cities, we can also explore, like for example, Hangzhou. Then we can also go to Guangzhou. We can also go to Beijing. Everything is very like easy. So coming here, other than studies, I can also like travel. And then I think traveling is like not only to have fun, but we can also like know the culture, for example, like the foods and also how the people are there. So I would say it is very interesting this past 6 months, and I've been enjoying China. Yeah.
Do you guys have any regrets? Currently, I've heard that you guys have, wishing to change your major, and you too. You did change your major.
I feel like I have no regrets as well, because you can try new things, and if you're not happy with it, the university offers you like a flexibility of switching your programs. Like me, I switched from like filmmaking to an English major. Like, what about you guys?
For me, I would say it is very important to do research. So before coming here, for sure, if we are talking about like business-related major, they have like supply chain, they have like management, they have like business analyst. There's like a lot of like major or that is available, right? So it is very important to do research. You can it is easily for you to Google it, or you can watch YouTube. You can watch TikTok, or even ask your family and friends. So I think knowing or like gathering information, gathering knowledge from like other people, from their experience is also very important to make sure that you choose the right major for you.
I mean, again, for me, I don't think there's right or wrong, but if you really don't know what are you gonna do, I mean, you can meet up with your academic advisor, talk to them. They're gonna provide you with a lot of advice, useful ones, obviously. And just don't worry. I mean, there's always a way for everything. And if you happen to really regret, come to China 4 years, then do 2+2, right? 2 years in China, 2 years in UK. It's always a new fun experience. So don't worry.
Now, let's move on to our final part about your future plans. Were you thinking of maybe, staying here in China for continuing studies, or maybe leaving one? Or maybe perhaps you were thinking into working here in China, or maybe like working outside, maybe like going back to your country or other countries?
I think that's one of the things I'm constantly thinking about, because as a Malaysian, we do not think a lot about like the master's degrees, because in Malaysia we rely a lot on like degree programs, our degree certificate, and our experiences as well. But it's because of majority of my friends are Chinese and they will be going for like a master's degree. But I think at the moment I'm gonna graduate with a degree and I'm gonna try to find a job in China. Although like many of my friends say it's hard, and then I mean, like, when your friends are all like going for a master's degree and you're not, it's kind of peer pressuring. But I feel like if there's a will, there's a way. It's about working with what you have, because I feel like with China there's a lot of like opportunities. Like China is really big. You can consider many other places. It doesn't have to be like Suzhou. It can be like other options as well. You can go like all the way to the north, or like all the way to the south. Yeah.
What kind of like job were you into?
Oh, I wanted to be like a teacher, but I hope I would graduate and I will be like a kindergarten like English teacher. I love children, and like like Chinese kids, they're like they're like really cute, and like during the winter their faces are like all red. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but from what I heard, I think the prospect of being like English teacher in China is very good, and then it's quite a high-paying job.
Because
as
like
well.
China is like so developed, I cannot find like a category where like I can put myself in. But I feel like for English, it's like always like a demand, Yeah.
How about you two?
I mean, I'd do anything that makes good money and that is not illegal.
Oh.
So
Same.
yeah, I mean, anything
same.
works, right? I can be anything.
As long as we can get the money, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. For me, I think I wanna like to find a job here, because like my program is master program. It's around 18 months to 24 months. So for me, it's 18 months. So I feel like 18 months is like a very short time. So because I'm here, then if I have the opportunity to find like a job here in China, then it will be a good.
What about you?
Oh, me? I was, again, I've selected architecture. I am 100% going, into architecture. But before that, probably after finishing my 4th year, I'm thinking into master's degree, because it's very relevant these days. And it's, I don't know, maybe a lot of people encourage you to go for a master's. For those extra qualifications. And again, in the architecture world, I do think it's very important for us to get this kind of certification. It's called the RIBA, and currently our campus do offer that kind of certifications. Perhaps no, it was a validation. I'm sorry, my bad. But yeah, it's good enough. Every of the courses has been selected, has been reviewed by the institution, and I do think it's a good career path. And probably after taking my master's, then I would like try to work. It's either outside China, maybe, I don't know. Kind of depends on where life leads you. Yeah. Are there any last words from any of you guys? Maybe any additional things you want to share?
I love China.
Well, I'd say like, sometimes don't overthink about the future too much. I think that's what I always tend to do, to think about, how things will turn out. Like, what if I do this? What if I do that? Even for like the little things. I feel like sometimes just do what you want at the moment and then just see where it leads you, like you say, Because sometimes, like you think so much about the future, you don't know what will happen. And then you'll regret not doing something you want now. So it's about like, thinking about what you want.
So like, it's enjoying the process. You know,
Yeah.
don't care about the final results.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think continuing from you is that I heard a podcast before saying that in life you'll always have choices. So there will be like sometimes you'll think that am I taking the right choices? Am I like taking the wrong choices? But I don't think that any choices is right or wrong. But once you take that choice, once you
You'll
make that
know.
choice, you need to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for, spending time with us in this wonderful podcast series.
Please, I beg you, like the video, share to your friends, comments as well. Any kind of questions or anything, we accept all of that. Thank you.